Yes.
Seems chilly for Tennessee. Seems kind of chilly for Tennessee. Well, I guess it gets.
Okay, it's 7 o'clock somewhere. I guess it just turned here. So could we please call the meeting to order? Could everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Could we please get the roll call?
Scott Hansen,
Here.
Ben Terrell, Lisa Lewitsky,
Here.
Ray Whitaker,
Here.
Ed Kemp,
Here.
Tim Catron,
Here.
Zachary Dillinger,
Here.
Frank Holmes,
Here.
Brian Ross.
Here, thank you. Have all the proper notices been posted and set?
They have.
Thank you. What are your wishes for the agenda this evening?
Move to approve.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. What are your wishes on the minutes of October 7th and the October 28th special meeting?
Motion to approve. Support.
We have a motion support. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. On this time of the agenda, as well as at the end, there is a time for public comments. If anyone would like to speak on anything that's not on the agenda this evening, now is the time. Doesn't appear there are any public comments. If, excuse me, if we could have the staff report on CU-9-16-11, please.
A request by Henry and Etta Mae Detweiler for a change of conditions of an existing conditional use permit that allows for the operation of a home business, bakery, home goods, and hardware sales per Section 1413 of the ordinance at 4201 West Vermontville Highway, Section 29 of Chester Township. Specifically, the requested change is to allow for the division of property. The property is currently 20 acres. It is zoned limited agricultural, surrounded by limited agricultural. The land use is residential, agricultural, and home business. Surrounding is residential, agricultural, and construction contractors establishment. The soils class is essential. West Vermontville Highway is a major road. The applicant's statement is, there is no proposed change to the business operations as approved in 2016. However, the applicants would like to divide their property. They state this request should be granted because we wish to continue the operation of the bakery but would like to split and sell property. The bakery house and outbuildings will be located on 6.9, give or take, acres. The application was sent out for site plan review. Responses were received prior to the writing of the staff report from the Charlotte Fire Department. We have reviewed the change of use request for Henry and Etta Mae Detweiler to split the property and sell newly created parcels. We do not have any issues with the proposed application, and Chester Township has approved the request. In addition, since the writing of the staff report, we received responses from the Eaton Conservation District. They have no concern. And the Drain Office has approved with no comment. The notification of the application was sent out to 8 surrounding property owners. No written responses were received prior to the writing of the staff report or this meeting. Included in the staff report is zoning ordinance section 1413 for home businesses. The property is in the future land use plan as agricultural preservation. Staff comments are as follows. The conditional use permit that allows for the operation of the current home business was approved by the Planning Commission on September 6th of 2016. Staff has not received any complaints regarding the operation of the business since approval. Per the application, the business as operated complies with the approved conditional use permit and zoning ordinance section 1413 home business. In addition, the business complies with the parking and signage requirements of the zoning ordinance. The applicants are requesting a change of conditions to allow for the division of their property. The operation of the business will remain as approved in 2016. Change of conditions are addressed in zoning ordinance section 9.3.9, conditions of approval, which state, the Planning Commission may require reasonable conditions in conjunction with the approval of a conditional use permit. Such conditions shall include increased service and facility loads caused by proposed land use or activity to protect natural environment or conserve natural resources and energy, to ensure compatibility with adjacent land uses, and to promote the use of land in socially and economically desirable manner. The conditions imposed shall be recorded in the minutes of the Planning Commission and on the conditional use permit. These conditions shall remain unchanged unless a written request is submitted to the Planning Commission for a change of conditions. A request for change of conditions shall be scheduled for a public hearing before the Planning Commission. Prior to hearing the request shall be reviewed under the appropriate site plan review process. The recommendations from the site plan review process shall be reported during the hearing. A public notice shall be mailed to all property owners within 300 feet of the conditional use permit site. Approval of the change of conditions shall be granted only upon an affirmative vote of the majority of the Planning Commission. All changes shall be recorded in the minutes of the meeting and the conditional use permit. The division of property as shown on the site plan complies with the zoning ordinance requirements. In addition, I will state that it also complies with the Land Division Act. The Planning Commission may use sections 9.3.6 and 1413 included in the staff report to determine if this business meets zoning ordinance requirements and what, if any, conditions may be required. That completes the staff report.
Are there any questions of staff? Seeing none, if the applicant would like to come forward and see if there's anything you'd like to add to that.
My name is Henry Detweiler, 4201 West Vermontville Highway in Charlotte. I think Brandy pretty much covered it, but if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Other than that, thanks for your consideration.
Okay, I think we're good. Thank you, sir. Okay, would anyone like to speak in favor of the application? Anyone like to speak in opposition to the application? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion of the hearing and deliberate amongst the commissioners.
Seems good.
Yeah.
I move that we approve CU-9-16-11.
Support.
We have a motion support. Any other discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, if we could have a roll call vote then.
Scott Hansen,
Yes.
Lisa Lewitsky,
Yes.
Ray Whitaker,
Yes.
Ed Kemp,
Yes.
Tim Catron,
Yes.
Zachary Dillinger,
Yes.
Frank Holmes,
Yes.
Brian Ross.
Yes.
Henry, your request was approved. I know I said we'd meet on Monday. I'm actually off on Monday, so if you want to call, we can schedule something for Tuesday. Does that work? Yep.
Okay, when you are ready, if we could have the staff report on CU-12-2512.
Request by Freeman, David, Dwayne, Eli, and Larry Koblenz for a conditional use permit to operate a campground as a commercial rec facility as defined in zoning ordinance section 5.3.3C at 9396 Sycamore Lane, section 28 of Vermontville Township. The property in totality, it's 2 parcels, is 50.09 acres. It is zoned limited agricultural. The surrounding zoning is limited agricultural, local business, general business, and Village of Vermontville. The land use history since the 70s has been residential and a campground. Surrounding is residential, agricultural, and commercial. The property soil class is non-essential. Sycamore Lane is an approved county private road, which is located off from North Ionia Road, which is a major road. The applicants request a conditional use permit to allow for the continued operation of an Eagle-approved campground that has 67 sites, 3 rustic cabins, manager's house, owner's house, activity center, restroom building, and storage buildings. The campground will be open 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, April 1st through October 31st each year. There will be 2 employees on site during the hours of operation. 2 of the 3 existing cabins were placed on the property without permits by the previous owner. The applicants state the 2 12-by-16 cabins will be relocated as shown on the site plan, and permits will be obtained. The applicants state that the existing well, septic, and drain fields located on the property are used. They will comply with Berry Eaton District Health Department and Eagle requirements. The trash is removed from the property by Granger. Equipment to be stored on site includes maintenance equipment. Per the application, there is 1 existing entrance, which is the private road. It is not paved and does not have curb or gutter. Anticipated traffic to the site is 25 vehicles. Parking is provided for 71 vehicles. The parking area is lit but not paved. Supplies are brought to the site by light delivery trucks and personal vehicles. The applicants state the previous owners of the property operated a campground with CU 417-3. The applicants state this request should be granted because we have maintained license through Eagle since ownership but have not operated. We would like to open spring of 2026. Included in the staff report are site plan review comments from the Road Commission, which states, I've reviewed the CUP application and find no impact to Eaton County roads. I have no objection to the approval. In addition, since writing of the staff report, responses were received by Donna Cervelli of Eagle, which just states that there are regulated floodplains associated with Thornapple River for the site. Any filling or grading or occupation within a regulated 100-year floodplain would require a permit under the state's floodplain regulatory authority. It goes on to tell what those requirements are. They are not proposing any change of grade or construction within the floodplain. In addition, we received response from Claire Watts of Eagle, who is the wetlands coordinator for Eagle. It says, Brandy, a Part 303 permit would be needed if any work is conducted along the water's edge of the pond or in a wetlands area as shown in the green area in the image below. A Part 301 permit may also be needed for any stream work on the property. I would strongly advise setting up a pre-application if there is any newly proposed construction modification for the property. Again, the only construction proposed is the moving of the cabins, and they're moving the cabin from an existing floodplain to an area that's not a floodplain. So this also would not apply to their request. Vermontville Township has approved the request. The Eaton Conservation District has no concerns with the request, and the Drain Commissioner's Office approved the request. Notification was sent out to 16 surrounding property owners. A surrounding property owner did send in an email and stopped into the office today to get further clarification. The email is from Leslie Dunham, and it states, we would like to express our concerns regarding the permit request for a conditional use permit to operate a campground as a commercial rec facility at 9396 Sycamore Lane, Section 28 of Vermontville Township. The concern is noise, and will this be regulated and stopped by 10 p.m. at night? We have experienced in the past music events going on until hours of the night, which is not acceptable. Fireworks for multiple nights in a row, very late at night, making it impossible to sleep. 4th of July is expected. With the extension to the pond, normal use is fine. If a campground permit is issued, does that mean we will have to listen to multiple noisy boat engines and water ski doos all day long into the evening, or will this be limited from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., for example? Will this be year-round or seasonal? This neighbor did stop in today and got further clarification that they are not extending the pond. They were informed that the Koblentzes have owned the property to the east as long as this campground has been in existence from the 70s. And they purchased it because of the same concerns that this surrounding property owner had. So, but I told her I would still read the response into record. The definition for a commercial rec facility is included in your staff report, section 5.3.3C. The property is master planned as resource conservation and agricultural preservation, which is included in the staff report. Community development staff comments, a commercial rec facility is a use permitted in a limited ag zone district with a conditional use permit. A campground was previously operated from those properties from the early 70s through 2013, and again from 2017 through 2021. The applicants purchased the property in 2022. While they have maintained the Eagle Campground license, the campground has not been in operation. They would like to reopen the campground in spring of 2026. Parking as proposed in the application meets ordinance requirements. Parking is not shown on the site plan, but is provided for at each campsite and both homes. There are no concerns regarding parking. The Planning Commission may use subsection 9.3.6 and 5.3.3C included in the staff report to determine if the business meets ordinance requirements and what, if any, conditions may be required. That completes the staff report.
Are there any questions for staff? I'm looking at the diagram of the campsites. Where are the buildings that are gonna be moved?
They are shown on sites 19 and 20. They are currently, I think, on 67 and 66. And sites 67 and 66 are in a floodplain, so they're going to move them to the higher ground on Eagle-approved sites. They won't have any kind of water or sewer, so those actually would be considered rustic cabins that fall under the provision of Eagle requirements for the campground license.
This site has already been approved before.
Yes. The only change to their site plan is the moving of the two cabins that were built without permits by the previous owner and getting permits for them.
Are there any other questions for staff?
Has there been a previous use permit for this?
Yes, the CU 417-3 was held by the Van Buskirks. Previous to that, it was a legal non-conforming use.
Thank you.
Any other questions of staff? Okay, seeing none, if the applicant would like to come forward, state their case, add anything.
Hi, I'm Freeman Koblenz, one of the Koblenz brothers that own the campground. Open for any questions.
Any questions of the applicant?
I guess I have one. So 19 and 20, those are the lots that currently have those cabins that need to be moved. That's 19 and 20.
Please.
That's that northeast, the site plan we have is real hard
Yeah.
to read. So it's in that northeast corner of your
Yes.
property?
Yep.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Do you have any concern about responding to that issue about the noise?
Yeah, so we won't have any of those problems either. Or 10 o'clock is quiet hour, so
Oh, okay.
we won't have any of those problems. I hope not.
All goes well. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone that would like to speak in favor of the application? Anyone like to speak in opposition to the application? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public portion of the hearing and deliberate amongst the commissioners.
So Brandy, we don't have any concerns about the parking not being on the site plan? It's not, you're not worried about that?
No, parking is also regulated by Eagle. They're required to provide parking on the campsites in particular.
Ready for a motion? I make a move that we support CU-12-25-12.
Support.
We have a motion to support. Any discussion on this? Okay, seeing none, if we could get a roll call vote, please.
Scott Hansen,
Yes.
Lisa Lewitsky,
Yes.
Ray Whitaker,
Yes.
Ed Kemp,
Yes.
Tim Catron,
Yes.
Zachary Dillinger,
Yes.
Frank Holmes,
Yes.
Brian Ross.
Yes.
Okay, Freeman, seeing as how David made you get up, David, I need to see you next week with drawings for those cabins so you can apply for the building permits. Thank you.
Okay, when staff is ready, if we could have the staff report for CU-12-25-16, please.
A request by Raymond and Heather Charles, owners of RHC Holdings LLC and Island Auto Body for a conditional use permit to allow for the operation of a vehicle repair, body shop, and vehicle sales business per zoning ordinance sections 14.17, new and used vehicle, boat, farm implement dealer, and 14.19, commercial garage at 2334 South Michigan Road, Section 26 of Eaton Rapids Township. The property is 1.6 acres. It is now zoned general business. The Planning Commission heard this request for the DCA in September. It is surrounded by general business C2, local business C1, low-density residential, and limited agricultural. The land use history of this property is automotive sale and repair. Surrounding properties is storage, bank, plumbing contractor, church, and residential and agricultural. The property is non-essential. South Michigan Road is a major road. The applicant requests a conditional use permit to allow for the operation of a new used car dealership and commercial garage. They state, I recently received approval to rezone the property to allow for the operation of my vehicle repair, body shop, and sales business from this property. The property has been used as such since 1979. There are 3 existing wall signs on the building. We will replace them in compliance with regulations to our business logo. Per the application, the hours of operation are Sunday through Saturday, 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. The applicant states there will be 4 employees on site during the hours of operation. An existing 40 by 80 repair shop building constructed in 1983 will continue to be used for the repairs. There's an existing block building that was constructed in the 70s that was used for sales and repair. The applicant states while we would like to add on to the existing sales and repair building, we are not sure if we can from a structural aspect. If we cannot add on, we will demo the existing building and construct a new 80 by 142 building. There is an existing well and septic located on the property. The applicant states the systems will need to be replaced. They will work with Berry Eaton District Health Department to apply for the necessary permits. The applicant states the floor drains in the building are self-contained and are maintained and cleaned out by Safety Clean. They state trash will be removed from the site by Granger. Items to be stored in site include up to 16 vehicles for repair that will be stored behind a proposed fence. In addition, 13 vehicles will be displayed for sale. All tools and parts will be stored in the building. There are 2 driveways to the site. They are paved but do not have curb and gutter. Anticipated traffic to the site is 10 to 20 vehicles per day. Parking is provided for 21 vehicles. The parking area will be lit and paved. Supplies are brought to the site by light delivery trucks and company vehicles. The applicant states previous owners had a conditional use permit from 1979. I received approval to rezone this property from local business to general business in September of this year. The applicant states this request should be granted because we recently purchased this property to move our existing vehicle repair, sales, and body shop business too. We will comply with required Department of State rules for licensing and all other departments as needed. We will continue to operate our business as good neighbors to the surrounding property owners. We do not believe this will have a negative impact on the surrounding area. This application was sent out for site plan review. Prior to writing the staff report, the Berry Eaton District Health Department had responded back that they approved the request. Since writing the staff report, the Eaton Conservation District has no concerns, and the Drain Commissioner's Office approved the request. 9 surrounding property owners were notified by first-class mail. No written responses were received. Included in your staff report is zoning ordinance sections 14.17, new used vehicle boat farm implement dealer, and 14.19, motor fuel service station, parking garage, and commercial garage. The property is master planned for general business. Staff comments. Mr. David Pennell, one of the original owners of P&K Auto Body Repair, purchases property and existing commercial garage and trail sales business from Pharmas Inc. in 1974. On August 14th, 1974, Mr. Pennell received a conditional use permit for the added operation of a paint and bump shop from this property. The applicants purchased the property this year and were approved for rezoning of the property from local business C1 to general business C2 with DCA 925-2. Based on an inspection of the site, application, and site plan, staff has determined that the business is in compliance with zoning ordinance sections 1417 and 1419. Staff has reviewed the site plan against the standards listed in zoning ordinance section 8.4.3. Staff finds the site plan to be complete as presented. The Planning Commission may use sections 9.6.3, 14.17, and 14.19 included in the staff report to determine if the business meets zoning ordinance requirements and what, if any, conditions may be required. That completes the staff report.
Are there any questions for staff? Okay, seeing none, if the applicant would like to come forward and if they would like to add anything.
Good evening. My name is Raymond Charles, owner of Island Auto Body and RHC Holdings and the property at 2334 South Michigan Road. Thank you for this opportunity, and I'm open for questions.
Has there been any discussion with the Eaton Rapids Township?
We had it approved at the last meeting that, with them on November 13th, it was approved by them.
Thank you.
If you had environmental health out there, is that why you say it needs to be replaced, or you just think it does?
The well and septic, the well is, if granted permission, we have to build the new building, demo the old building. The well and the septic are in that area of where the building would be built, so then they would have to be moved.
Any other questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone that would like to speak in favor of the application? Anyone like to speak in opposition to the application? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion of the hearing and deliberate amongst the commissioners.
I don't have any concerns, especially given the past use of the property.
Concur. So was that you making?
So then I would move to approve CU-12-25-16.
Support.
We have a motion support. Any discussion on this? Seeing none, if we could have a roll call vote, please.
Scott Hansen,
Yes.
Lisa Lewitsky,
Yes.
Ray Whitaker,
Yes.
Ed Kemp,
Yes.
Tim Catron,
Yes.
Zachary Dillinger,
Yes.
Frank Holmes,
Yes.
Brian Russ.
Yes.
Mr. Charles, you have been approved. If you can get me whatever you need from the state so I can sign it so you can get the appropriate licensure for this property. Anybody that is being approved tonight, it's going to take us a few weeks to get everybody's approvals out. Have some patience, please.
Okay, when staff is ready, if we could have the staff report for CU-12-25-17, please.
A request by Larry and Rebecca Koblenz and David and Lucy Koblenz for a conditional use permit to allow for the continued operation of an agricultural business, sawmill, and home business, furniture production and sales per sections 14.1 and 1413 of the zoning ordinance at 9277 Nashville Highway, Section 33 of Vermontville Township. The property proposed for the business and the new home would be 7.17 acres. The property is zoned limited agricultural. It is surrounded by limited agricultural, general business, and local business zoning. The land use history is residential, agricultural, home business, and sawmill. Surrounding is residential, agricultural, commercial, and campground. The property soil class is essential and non-essential. Nashville Highway is not a major road. The applicant state, the existing sawmill operates with CU 1990. Existing home business operates with CU 99820. David Koblenz, owner of both businesses, would like to retire. My son Larry Koblenz would like to take over both businesses as they currently exist. To do so, we propose a lot line adjustment as shown on the site plan. All buildings related to both businesses and 5.75 acres will be adjusted to Larry's property located at 9277 Nashville Highway. No change in actual business operation is proposed. The business hours are Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. There are 2 employees on site for both businesses during the hours of operation. No new buildings are proposed for the business. However, according to the application, the building identified as building number 4 on the site plan will be moved with a permit. Existing buildings used for the business are identified on the site plan as buildings 1, a 4,000 square foot building used for furniture production and sales, and building 2, a 1,578 square foot building used for the sawmill. The applicant states there is an existing well, septic, and drain fields for the home located on the properties. In addition, there's an existing septic and drain field for the home business. They state they will install a new well for the home business. Trash is removed from the property by Granger. Items stored on the site include furniture under the existing covered porch area of the home business. Logs and equipment for the sawmill are stored outdoors. There are 4 existing driveways to the site. They are not paved and do not have curb or gutter. Traffic to the site includes 10 to 15 vehicles per week for the home business and 2 trucks and trailers per week for the sawmill. Parking is provided for on-site for 16 vehicles. The applicant states supplies are brought to the site by light delivery trucks such as UPS and FedEx, and trucks and trailers. The applicants state their application should be approved because I would like to retire and my son Larry Koblenz would like to continue the operation of our already approved businesses. To do this, we would like to adjust the property lines to remove my home from the business and add Larry's home. There is no proposed change to the operation of the business. We do not believe the existing business has a negative impact on our neighbors. We hope to keep our existing business in the family and operational for years to come. The application was sent out for site plan review. Prior to writing the staff report, the Drain Commissioner's Office approved. The Road Commission commented, I've reviewed the above-mentioned CUP application and find no impact to Eaton County roads. I have no objection to the approval. The Barre Eaton District Health Department approved it. Vermontville Township approved it. Since the writing of the staff report, Eaton Conservation District has reviewed it. They have no concerns regarding the request. 10 surrounding property owners were notified by first-class mail. No written responses were received. Zoning ordinance section 14.1, agricultural business, and 1413, home business, is included in the staff report. The property is master planned as agricultural preservation. Staff comments. Per zoning ordinance section 12.2.2, legal nonconformity, item C, a legal nonconforming use is identified as any use of land located in a district in which is not permitted by right or site plan approval pursuant to this ordinance as amended and can be shown to have been established or commenced as a legal nonconformity shall be classified as a nonconforming use. As stated by the applicants, the businesses have been in operation with approval since 1990 and 1998 respectively. Copies of the conditional use permits are included with the application. The businesses are considered legal nonconformities due to the fact that Vermontville Township at one time took over their own planning and zoning functions. In addition, the size of the home business operation is 4,000 square feet is a legal nonconformity. This application would have been a change of conditions application if Vermontville Township had remained under Eaton County planning and zoning jurisdiction. Zoning ordinance section 12.2.3, regulation of nonconformities, items B, expansion states, No legal nonconforming use shall be permitted to expand, enlarge, or extend a land use occupied by the legal nonconforming use, except the legal nonconforming use of a building may be extended throughout any portions of the building which can be shown to have been manifestly arranged or designed for such use. The proposed lot line adjustment is not an expansion. Zoning ordinance section 12.2.3, regulation of nonconformities, item D, completion states, any lawful use of land or structure which is under construction in furtherance of establishment of a building or structure before enactment of this ordinance shall be permitted to continue as a legal nonconformity. Based on the application, site plan, and previous approvals of the business, staff has determined the business is in compliance with zoning ordinance sections 14.1, 14.13. The size of the existing home business would remain as a legal nonconformity. Staff has reviewed the site plan against the standards in zoning ordinance section 8.4.3. Staff finds the site plan is complete as presented. The planning commission may wish to use zoning ordinance sections 9.3.6, 14.1, and 14.13 included in the staff report to determine if this business meets ordinance requirements and what, if any, conditions may be required. That completes the staff report.
Are there any questions for staff? If the applicant would like to come up.
Hello, I'm Larry Koblenz, Riverside Oak Furniture, 9277 National Highway. Any questions, just feel free to ask.
One place here, it says how are supplies delivered or brought to the site? It's circled light delivery trucks. Does that mean that's exclusive of that? I see semi-trucks off to the side, so is it both or one?
Might be the trailer, the furniture trailer, maybe?
And it says trucks and trailers also on here. Page 3, number 3, it looks like. Or something.
That's part of the application. So it's a multiple choice question for the applicants. It says semi-trucks or light delivery trucks. They circle which one applies to their business. Semi-trucks is not circled.
So semi-trucks.
Correct. They don't have semi-trucks.
Okay, I'm just clearing that up. Let's see. I'm picturing, it said something about, I thought maybe he had to bring in logs or something.
Right.
You have the sawmill there or not?
Sawmill's there right next to the store.
So the light delivery brings in the logs?
What's that?
The lightly delivery truck will bring in the logs
Yeah,
also?
yeah, everything's in small trailers, no semi-trucks.
Oh, okay, I got you. Okay.
Any other questions for the applicant? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Is there anyone that would like to speak in favor of the application? Anyone like to speak in opposition to the application? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion of the hearing and deliberate amongst the commissioners.
I live a half mile from there, and it's always neat and organized, and the road's never beat up from any deliveries or anything, so.
There's a list of things that the applicant must do on the original conditional use permit. Should those be continued or mentioned? Anyone have a feeling either way?
Very nice. It's a pretty nice place.
Do you have something you want to add?
That would be up to the planning commission with the exception of the 4,000 square feet. They could just fall under 1413 and 14.1. So their new conditional use permit would list 1413 home business and 14.1 agricultural business, but it will specify that they can remain to have the 4,000 square feet for the home business. Some of the requirements listed specifically for the home business are no longer in effect. We used to, for example, it used to be that when a home business was approved, they could only have 10% of the items that were for sale on the property, and that were not made on the property, and they were limited to how many trips per day could go, and the zoning ordinance committee has done a great job updating the home business section of the zoning ordinance.
I'm gonna make a motion to support CU-12-25-17.
Support.
We have a motion to support. Any further discussion by the board? Everybody good? Okay, if we could have a roll call vote, please.
Scott Hansen,
Yes.
Lisa Lewitsky,
Yes.
Ray Whitaker,
Yes.
Ed Kemp,
Yes.
Tim Catron,
Yes.
Zachary Dillinger,
Yes.
Frank Holmes,
Yes.
Brian Ross.
Yes.
Larry, you can now get a hold of a surveyor. We'll need to have all the properties surveyed how they're proposed to be. Once you have that survey in your hand, give me a call, and I'll have to meet with you and your dad to get you through the land division application and make everything finalized for you. Thank you.
Okay, when staff is ready, if we could have the staff report for CU-12-25-18, please.
A request by Stephen and Brandy, I'm going to butcher it, Hake. And also, I misspelled Brandy's name. It's with a Y, not an I. For a conditional use permit to allow for operation of a light automotive repair facility per zoning ordinance section 1437 at 3821 South Stein Road, section 34 of Carmel Township. The property is 2 acres in size. It is zoned limited agricultural. It's surrounded by limited agricultural. The land use is residential. It is surrounded by residential and agricultural. The soils class is essential. Surrounding is essential and non-essential. South Stein Road is not a major road. The applicants are requesting a conditional use permit to operate a light automotive repair business from their property as regulated by zoning ordinance section 14.37, light automotive, small engine repair, and automotive body shop. They state, I am a licensed mechanic who works on vehicles in my free time. I am aware once approved, I will need to have my facility licensed by the Department of State. I do not currently take in more than 2 vehicles at a time for repair, but propose a 30 by 30, 6-foot fenced area for storage of vehicles waiting to be worked on. Hours of operation are 7 days a week, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., Saturdays and Sunday by appointment only. The applicant state, currently Mr. Hack is the only one employee for the business, but they may have an additional employee in the future. An existing 30 by 40 attached garage constructed in the 90s is used for the business. The applicant state there are 2 bays and there is an existing firewall between the house and the attached garage. They state there's an existing well, septic, and drain field located on the property. A restroom is located in the home. There is no water supply to the attached garage. Trash is removed by Granger. Auto fluids will be removed by Safety Clean. They are working on a contract. There are no drains located in the attached garage. Up to 4 vehicles are proposed to be stored outdoors behind the proposed fenced area as needed. Tools and parts are located in the garage. There is 1 existing driveway to the site, is not paved and does not have curb or gutter. Anticipated traffic to the site is 10 to 12 vehicles per week. Parking is proposed for 4 vehicles. The parking area is lit but not paved. Supplies are brought to the site by light delivery trucks, FedEx and UPS, and personal vehicles. The applicant states they were notified of a violation. I've been operating since May of 2025. I called for information regarding my sign. Once I found out I needed this permit, I applied. They state the request should be granted because I retired from a full-time mechanic job in May of 2025. My wife and I own a retail business in town. I would like to work on vehicles during my free time or as needed. My clients are friends and family. The business provides income for my family. I do not believe my business has a negative impact on my neighbors. If I didn't have a sign, you wouldn't know my business was there. The application was sent out for site plan review. Prior to the writing of the staff report, the Barry Eaton District Health Department approved the request. The Charlotte Fire Department commented, we have reviewed the conditional use permit application for Stephen and Brandy for a light automotive repair shop. We do not have any issues with the application or the use at this location. Since the writing of the staff report, responses were received from the Road Commission, I've reviewed the above-mentioned CUP and find no impacts on Eaton County roads. If the business were to expand in the future, I would like the opportunity to comment, as increased business may warrant an improvement of the driveway approach. The Eaton Conservation District reviewed it, it has no concerns. And the Eaton County Drain Commissioner's Office approved the request. 6 surrounding property owners were notified by first-class mail. No responses were received. Included in the staff report is zoning ordinance section 14.37, light automotive, small engine repair, and automotive body shop. The property is master planned as agricultural preservation. Staff comments. Per the zoning ordinance, a light automotive repair business is a use permitted with in a limited ag zone district with a conditional use permit. Once notified of the violation for operation of the business without a conditional use permit, the applicant submitted their application the following week. Light automotive repair businesses are regulated by zoning ordinance section 14.37. The applicant provided a copy of his Department of State motor vehicle mechanic certificate with the application. If approved, he will begin the process of obtaining a facility license from the Department of State. Per the application and site plan, the business appears to comply with zoning ordinance requirements. The Planning Commission may wish to require the applicants to provide proof of an executed contract with Safety Clean and the Department of State facility license to staff to ensure compliance. Staff has reviewed the site plan per zoning ordinance section 8.4.3 and has determined it is complete for this application. The Planning Commission may wish to use sections 9.3.6 and 14.37 included in the staff report to determine if the business meets ordinance requirements and what, if any, conditions may be required. That completes the staff report.
Are there any questions for staff? Okay, seeing none, if the applicant would like to come forward and they want to add anything to what staff report was?
I'm Stephen Hedrick. I don't need to add anything. I think she covered it quite well, but you got any questions?
Are there any questions for the applicant? Sure.
Just curious, do you do like overhauls or just brakes and mufflers, or how extensive?
I don't get too extensive.
So it wouldn't be,
Get pretty old. I ain't yanking no motors no more, nothing like that.
so it wouldn't be anything that cause, I noticed one house is somewhat close, as far as noise or something going on, no big thing really.
Yeah, and I keep it, daytime
Yeah.
hours.
I got you, okay, thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone that would like to speak in favor of the application? Anyone like to speak in opposition to the application? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public portion of the hearing and deliberate amongst the commissioners.
Seeing any debate, I move that we approve CU-12-25-18.
Support.
We have a motion support. Any discussion?
Is there any will to include those conditions mentioned about the contracts for Safety Clean and the Department of State facility licenses, or are we just not concerned about that?
We have in the past. It
Yeah.
probably wouldn't hurt to have them in there to keep it standard.
Yeah, consistent across all. Yeah, I would agree.
I would agree with that addition.
The second was Scott, and you're okay with that, Scott?
Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay. Seeing none, if we could get a roll call vote, please.
Scott Hansen,
Yes.
Lisa Levitsky,
Yes.
Ray Whitaker,
Yes.
Ed Kemp,
Yes.
Tim Catron,
Yes.
Zachary Dillinger,
Yes.
Frank Holmes,
Yes,
Ryan Ross.
Yes.
Steve, when you apply to the Department of State for your facility license, they're going to give you a form that I have to sign. Let me know when you have it, and I'll take care of that for you. Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is the staff report for CU-12-2522, please.
A request by David and Brandy Fletcher for a conditional use permit to allow for the operation of a private cemetery for their family per zoning ordinance section 14.3 on property located off from Griffin Highway, identified as parcel 140-016-200-01001, section 16 of Walton Township. The property is 1.14 acres. It is zoned limited agricultural, surrounded by limited agricultural zoning. The land use is residential storage. It is surrounded by the residential and agricultural. The soil class is essential and non-essential. Griffin Highway is not a major road. The applicants are requesting a conditional use permit for a private cemetery. The property is identified as parcel B on the attached survey. The applicants propose up to 80 4x9 plots on their site plan. They state they are aware that they will need approval from the Berrien District Health Department for the cemetery, and they will comply with the requirements. An existing 20x40 pole barn with a 12x16 addition on the back, constructed in the 80s, will be used to store equipment needed for property maintenance and burial. There is one existing driveway to the site. It is not paved and does not have curb and gutter. Parking, as shown on the site plan, will be provided for 8 vehicles. They state their request should be granted because we would like to have a cemetery for our family. We do not believe our cemetery will affect the neighboring property owners. We own the property to the east and west of our proposed 1.14 acre cemetery. Parcels A and C are on the attached survey. The application was sent out for a site plan review. At the time of writing the staff report, it was approved by the Drain Commissioner's Office and Walton Township. Since writing the staff report, it was approved by, the Road Commission commented, I've reviewed the above-mentioned CUP and find no impact to county roads. I have no objection to the CUP. It was also reviewed by the Eaton Conservation District. They have no concern for family use only. 5 surrounding property owners were notified by first-class mail. No responses were received. Included in the staff report are zoning ordinance section 14.13 for a cemetery. The property is master planned as agricultural preservation. Staff comments, per the zoning ordinance, a cemetery is a use permitted in a limited agricultural zone district with the conditional use permit. Per Article 14.3, cemetery, a cemetery shall comply with Public Act 368 of 1978 and 88 of 1875. Public Act 368 of 1978 is the Public Health Code, which is regulated by the Berrien District Health Department. Public Act 88 of 1875 exempts private burial grounds from taxation or attachment. Per the ordinance, parking requirements for a cemetery are a minimum of 4 parking spaces plus 1 for every 5 acres over 1 acre. The applicants show 8 parking spaces on their site plan. Staff has reviewed the site plan per zoning ordinance section 8.4.3 and has determined it is complete for this application. The Planning Commission may use sections 9.3.6 and 14.3 included in the staff report to determine if this business meets ordinance requirements and what, if any, conditions might be required. That completes the staff report.
Any questions for staff? Seeing none, if the applicant would like to come forward.
David Fletcher, 3465 Griffin Highway. I have no questions.
Do we have any questions for the applicant? Guess we have no questions for you. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Is there anyone that would like to speak in favor of the application? Anyone like to speak in opposition? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion of the hearing and deliberate amongst the commissioners. Shirley.
I've already mentioned this to Brandy, but I would like to put one condition on approval of this. And to give you a little background, as a township clerk, we currently have to maintain 2 old family cemeteries. When the cemeteries are abandoned, basically, by the family, and they're not being kept up anymore, it goes to the township, whether we want it or not. It's state law. And so what I would like to see, it's very hard to take over a very old family cemetery with no knowledge of where people are or anything. And so what I'd like to see is a condition that if at some point in the future, the cemetery is abandoned, that they've kept up records and given them over the years to the township, copies of everything, so that the township, if it ever comes into their possession, has records on that cemetery, knows where people are buried and what all's been done to it over the years. It's very hard to maintain an old family cemetery when you don't know what's where.
If I could add, I did have that conversation with the applicants, and they have no objection to each time a burial takes place to give the records to Walton Township.
So any motion that would be made, how do you want?
Contingent on all burial information to be given to Walton Township at the time the burial takes place.
I think we could probably get that figured out.
What? So what? You want to know the person?
Yeah, just like where, like a map showing somebody's buried here, here's who it is. The old cemeteries that we already have in Bellevue Township, there's markers for some people, nice big old fashioned monuments, but there's, certainly burials of children that were never marked, probably other burials that were never marked, on very old ones, or like natural burials. If there's no vault, we've run into conditions where, they probe, doesn't seem like anything's there, start to dig and find bones. And, then you fill it back in and try to dig somewhere else. Well, when you're talking about an old family cemetery, if you don't know where people are, that becomes a difficult situation. Essentially, we've shut down the 2 that we have. We maintain them, but unless you can prove to us the family relationship, we're not even going to talk to you about getting buried in either of them. And that's part of the reason why, because we just can't trace where everything is anymore. So it kind of becomes wasted space at that point, no matter what the original plans were for the family. I sincerely hope that the family continues to take care of it forever, but in case they don't, it would be much better for the township, because they're the ones who ultimately will have to take over maintenance of it.
Do we need to specify what kinds of information? Just say complete burial information.
I would want basically just a map marking where the burial is and who's buried there. That way, if, somebody in the future goes in or asks, hey, grandma was supposedly buried here, we can say, here's where she is. If it were mine, and I would want for Walton Township to have access to the same kind of information, or any other township. So yeah, I'd say minimum would be a map showing where the burials are once there's somebody in the plot, and then name of who's there.
I mean, they submitted a cemetery site plan.
Yeah.
Very neatly defined rows of vaults and sites.
Yeah,
So it seems to
yeah.
me it'd be a pretty easy thing to update that as someone is interred.
Correct.
Provide that updated cemetery site plan to the
Yeah,
township.
yeah. Hopefully, when it actually gets used, it turns out like that.
Sure.
When you get on the ground in these cemeteries, all the lumps and bumps change things. But yeah, since they've already got a site plan for it, it should be a fairly easy thing to maintain and just every time give a copy of the records to the, because in order, like in the cemeteries we run, we have to have a burial certificate for a full burial. You don't need that for cremations, but, yeah, you know, it would be good for the township to have that record, so that if someday it comes to them to maintain, they have a minimum amount of information.
Ready? Want to do it?
Sure.
Okay, I make a motion that we approve CU-12-25-22 with two provisions. One, that be limited family-only burials, and two, that information be provided to the township to include at a minimum a map of the burial and the name of the person that is buried in that location.
Support.
We have a motion support. Any further discussion? Scott, I think you had something.
Yes, I was inquiring before we went into the motion portion. Are all burials now required to have a vault or anything, or can they just bury the body in there without any
Yeah, you can.
covering?
Natural burial is allowed in the state of Michigan. It's up to the individual cemetery operator. So that would be up to the Fletchers or the family when they operate it, if they want to allow natural burials. But yeah, certainly you don't need a vault.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have a motion support. Any further discussion? Okay, if we could get a roll call vote, please.
Scott Hansen,
Yes.
Lisa Lewitsky,
Yes.
Ray Whitaker,
Yes.
Ed Kemp,
Yes.
Tim Catron,
Yes.
Zachary Dillinger,
Yes.
Frank Holmes,
Yes.
Brian Ross.
Yes.
Mr. Fletcher, in a few weeks, probably in January, I will send you your conditional use permit via mail. There will be a signature line on there for you to please send it back with a signature. Thank you.
And when staff is ready, if we could get the staff report on DCA-12-25-6, please.
A request by Jason Curtis and Clint Hops, owners of JC and CJ Properties LLC, for a district change amendment to change the zoning of the property located at 11994 West Grand Ledge Highway from limited agricultural and local business C1 to general business C2. The property is located in Section 6 of Sunfield Township. The property is 1.74 acres. It is zoned local business C1 and limited agricultural. It is surrounded by local business C1, medium-density residential, limited agricultural, and industrial. The land use is commercial storage and shop. The surrounding use is residential, agricultural, and commercial. The soil class is essential. West Grand Ledge Highway is a major road. The applicant states, in summary, they are requesting to change the zoning of this property from local business C1 and limited agricultural to general business C2. The applicant state prior to the purchase of the property, a lot line adjustment was complete with the property to the east, which is zoned LA. Currently, my property is dual zoned LA and C1. I would like to rezone the property to C2. Per the application, the property is currently used for storage of boats, small engine repair, and part sale. The applicant states specifically the reason for the amendment as requested. We purchased the property in July of this year. We would like to add on to our existing building and possibly allow for the sale of boats and farm implements. We would like our property to be in one zoning district rather than two. The applicant states an error was made in the original ordinance which justifies the proposed amendment. The original document should have prevented the creation of dual zone properties to alleviate confusion for property owners. We do not believe the previous property owner was aware the property was dual zoned. The applicant state the property cannot be put to a reasonable economic use as it now stands under the current ordinance. They state due to the dual zoning of the property, it makes the uses allowed confusing. So no, we do not believe the property can be used as we would like to. The applicants state they do not anticipate any impact to the adjacent roads, county drains, or public schools. They state there will not be a negative impact on the environment or value of adjacent property. They state we believe this change will have a positive impact on the neighboring property values as we will be compliant with the rules and regulations. This application was sent out for site plan review. Prior to the writing of the staff report, it was approved by the Eaton County Drain Commissioner's Office and the Barry Eaton District Health Department. The Road Commission commented. I've reviewed the mentioned DCA application and see both roads are MDOT truck line roads. I find no impact to the county roads and have no objection to the approval. Since writing the staff report, the Eaton Conservation District reviewed the request and they have no concerns. The application was approved by Sunfield Township Board. 9 surrounding property owners were notified by first-class mail. No written responses were received. Existing zoning, section 7.3, limited agricultural, is included in your staff report, as is section 7.5A, local business district C1, and the proposed zoning district of 7.5B, general business C2. The property is master planned for general business, not that I'm finding it, but I know that by heart, so. Staff comments. The applicants are requesting to rezone their property from limited agricultural and local business to general business C2. A lot line adjustment was complete in 2021. This adjustment resulted in the existing dual zone property. At the time of the adjustment, the zoning ordinance did not prevent the creation of dual zone properties. Zoning ordinance section 6.7.1D was updated by DCA 1024-5 and now states, properties proposed to be created shall be in the same zoning district. Properties proposed to be created that are not in the same zoning district are required to apply for a district change amendment prior to approval. The site plan provided is a survey of the properties from when the lot line adjustment was performed in 2021. The areas shown as A and B are zoned limited agricultural. The remainder of the property is zoned local business. The existing commercially zoned portion of the property has been zoned commercially since at least 1960. Department records indicate storage and shop business was allowed by right in 1964. If this request is approved, the applicants are aware they would need to apply for a conditional use permit prior to operation of the proposed boat and farm implement dealer. They are also aware they will need to provide a detailed site plan. The Planning Commission may wish to discuss if this changed request complies with the county master plan or if an error occurred which justifies the proposed amendment. Specifically, the Planning Commission must address these issues as well as items A through G from section 13.6, which is included on page 5 of this staff report. In addition, the Planning Commission must also address section 13.4.7A, commercial rezoning performance standards, while considering this request. These standards are listed on, it says page 7, but it really is on page 8. And as a motion is made, items A through G need to be specifically answered in the motion, please.
Anyone have questions of staff? Seeing none, would the applicant like to come and add anything?
I think she pretty much covered everything. Kind of a weird one.
Does anyone have any questions for the applicant? Frank, please.
One comment here says you'd like to add on, is that just a little bit more to that building that is there, not a separate?
That's what kind of brought the whole thing. I inquired about adding on, and then, I didn't know it was zoned two different. I don't know how a piece of property can be zoned two different things, but it was. So I had to spend $1,600 to clear that up before I could possibly apply for a permit.
Gotcha.
I'm not sure, I just want to be able to possibly add on at some point in time. I have no big plans of that at the moment, but
Within the boundary of what we see here.
100%, yep.
Yeah, okay.
Any other questions of the applicant? Okay, thank you, sir.
Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Is there anyone that would like to speak in favor of the application? Anyone like to speak in opposition to the application? Seeing none, we'll close the public portion of the hearing and deliberate amongst the commissioners. Please do not forget that if anyone would like to make a motion, page 5, right? No, page 6, A through G, need to be answered.
Act like the wordy ones.
I can do it. I'm wanting to make sure I get everything. So Brandy, in your staff comments, you say that we must also address section 13.4.7.a commercial. Do we have to specifically mention those in the motion as well?
You do not. You just have to confirm that you've reviewed them and you believe it complies.
Understood. Okay. I can do this one. So I move we approve DCA 12-25-6. We have reviewed and considered the performance standards from section 13.4.7.a. Find no concerns there. Further, addressing the 13.6 considerations, under A, the identifiable conditions that are related, that have changed is we've actually changed the zoning ordinance since this was addressed, and so we are updating this property to comply with the current zoning ordinance. It wasn't an error under B, it just, we've updated since then, so there's no error per se. No precedence, again, because we're correcting this property and updating it to as we stand under C. Item D, it does not seem to adversely affect environmental conditions or the value of surrounding property. Does not seem to have an impact on the ability of the county or other governmental agencies to provide adequate public services under E. Under F, it does seem to generally comply with the adopted Eaton County Development Plan. And under G, barring this change with a dual zone property, it seems that reasonable economic use would be quite difficult to identify. So under G, this would address that when we do make this a single zoned property.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Any discussion? Seeing none, could we get a roll call vote, please?
Scott Hansen,
Yes.
Lisa Lewitsky,
Yes.
Ray Whitaker,
Yes.
Ed Kemp,
Yes.
Tim Catron,
Yes.
Zachary Dillinger,
Yes.
Frank Holmes,
Yes.
Brian Ross.
Yes.
Mr. Curtis, after this meeting, I'll be sending a resolution from the Planning Commission to Public Works and Human Services. Their meeting is tomorrow morning at 9. You do not need to be present. Public Works and Human Services is a recommending agency to the Eaton County Board of Commissioners, which will meet on December 17th at 6 p.m. They will make the final determination. If Public Works and the Board of Commissioners approves your request, I have to put a final notice in the paper. As of January 1st, you should be, yeah. Yes, and then we can talk about the use of the property.
I believe DCA 1225-5 and CU 324-1 you had.
Yes, the request by Terry Smith and Kanda Jean Anthony Trust. I received communication from Mr. Smythe, I'm sorry. He has requested that the Planning Commission postpone hearing their applications until the January 6th Planning Commission meeting, as Ms. Kanda Jean Anthony has passed away. She just passed away here recently. So Mr. Smythe is working with her heirs on how to move forward with the purchasing of the property.
Okay. And next on, oh, I'm sorry, Frank?
Brookfield Township last night discussed this at length.
Frank, I'm so sorry. There isn't any public hearing on this.
What's that?
There isn't a public hearing on this tonight. Okay,
Just as information that they discussed it, you know, so it's ongoing. That's why I first found out that Candace, she passed away.
Okay, next on the agenda is PA 116 applications. I see there's none, correct?
that is correct.
Other business, 2025 annual report.
I was trying to push myself to get it done for tonight's meeting, but because we are meeting in January, I will have it before you and complete for the January 6th meeting.
Okay, reports.
I honestly can't remember if I sent you the Public Works and Human Services report, but I think maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. I did, yes. Okay, there you go. I sent the report.
Zoning Ordinance Committee meeting, we have not had one. Board of Appeals,
The Board of Appeals met this evening and approved a request for a variance from an accessory dwelling unit for an already constructed accessory dwelling unit with an already constructed attached garage. The variance amount was for 384 square feet.
any public comments? Seeing none, upcoming cases. We have 10 applications to be heard tomorrow night.
That is correct, and the meeting starts at 6 PM.
Okay. Nothing else, I'll entertain a motion.
So
Make-
moved.
Perfect. I think we're all ready.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. We're done.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, my face is not red because I'm mad. They're horrible. They're just horrible, just so you guys know, they're horrible.